There exists a fundamental truth about human nature that transcends culture, language, and time itself. What people genuinely feel in their hearts rarely finds its way directly into the words they speak. Instead, the most profound emotions hide themselves within an intricate tapestry of unspoken communication, a sophisticated code written in fleeting glances, unconscious gestures, subtle shifts in vocal tone, and the invisible energy that radiates from one person to another. When we explore the realm of human attraction and romantic connection, this silent language becomes exponentially more powerful, more revealing, and more honest than any verbal confession could ever be. Today, we're going to embark on a journey of discovery, learning to decode the delicate signals that emerge when a woman is quietly yearning for something deeper with you, something that goes far beyond casual friendship or polite acquaintance. These indicators aren't arbitrary quirks of personality or random coincidences that mean nothing. They're deeply rooted in psychological science, emotional authenticity, and the genuine pull of attraction that operates beneath conscious awareness. Once you develop the ability to recognize and interpret these signals accurately, your entire understanding of human interaction will transform in ways you never anticipated. You'll begin seeing layers of communication that previously remained invisible to you, reading stories written in silence that most people walk past without ever noticing. Let's carefully examine 7 powerful indicators that reveal when a woman wants far more than friendship from you. The first profound signal lives in the windows to the soul itself, her eyes and the way they seek you out. We've all encountered that ancient saying about eyes being the windows to the soul, and while it might sound like romantic poetry, there's substantial truth embedded within those words. In the context of attraction, the eyes become the very first doorway that opens, revealing what the conscious mind might still be hiding even from itself. Now, there's an enormous difference between a polite glance and something far more meaningful. A courteous look acknowledges your presence and then moves on, nothing more. But when her eyes linger on you for those extra moments that feel charged with something unspoken, when her gaze keeps returning to find yours again and again throughout a conversation or across a crowded room, when you catch her looking at you, and instead of immediately glancing away in embarrassment, she holds that connection for just a heartbeat longer, or when her focus drops down to trace the outline of your lips before slowly climbing back up to lock onto your gaze once more. That's not coincidence or politeness. That's the subconscious machinery of attraction working at full power. Her conscious mind might not have fully acknowledged what she's feeling yet. She might not have put words to the pull she experiences in your presence, but her eyes, operating on a deeper level of truth than language can access, are betraying her genuine feelings in ways she cannot fully control. The sustained eye contact, the repeated glances, the way her pupils might dilate slightly when she looks at you, these are all involuntary responses governed by neurochemistry and ancient evolutionary programming. When someone is genuinely attracted to another person, their visual attention becomes magnetically drawn toward them. They seek out their face in crowds. They watch them when they think no one else is noticing. They study the details of their expressions, memorizing the landscape of their features. This isn't something people decide to do consciously. It happens automatically, driven by forces deeper than rational thought. So when you notice her eyes telling a story her words haven't spoken yet, recognize it for the powerful signal it truly represents. The second revealing indicator manifests through the language of physical touch, one of humanity's oldest and most fundamental forms of communication. Long before our species developed complex verbal language, we were connecting through physical contact. Touch creates closeness, establishes comfort, generates warmth, and builds bonds that words alone could never forge. It remains hardwired into our neurology as a primary channel for expressing emotion and intention. When a woman experiences genuine attraction toward you, something instinctive within her begins seeking out opportunities for casual physical contact. She might reach out to touch your arm gently while laughing at something you said, letting her fingers rest there for just a moment longer than strictly necessary. You might notice her brushing past you in situations where there was actually plenty of space to maintain distance, creating contact that seems accidental but happens with surprising frequency. She might find small reasons to adjust something about your appearance, straightening your collar, removing a piece of lint from your shirt, or playfully pushing your shoulder during a teasing exchange. These gestures are never empty or meaningless. Psychological research has demonstrated repeatedly that people unconsciously increase physical contact with individuals they're attracted to. Each small touch serves multiple purposes simultaneously. On one level, these touches are her way of testing boundaries incrementally, seeing how you respond to her presence in your personal space. She's gauging your receptiveness, watching for signals that you welcome her proximity or prefer she maintain more distance. On another level, these touches function as invitations, wordless requests for you to reciprocate and establish that physical connection flows both directions. Touch releases oxytocin, sometimes called the bonding hormone, which deepens feelings of connection and trust between people. When she initiates these small moments of contact, she's not just expressing attraction, she's actively building the neurochemical foundation for deeper intimacy. The frequency and nature of these touches reveal volumes about her internal state. A woman who touches your arm once during a long conversation might simply be naturally expressive. But when you notice a consistent pattern of finding reasons to make physical contact, when she seems to unconsciously gravitate toward proximity that allows for these moments, when her touches carry a quality of gentleness or lingering that extends beyond mere friendliness, that's when you know you're witnessing attraction expressing itself through one of our most primal communication channels. The third powerful indicator reveals itself through her body language and physical presence when she's around you. The human body operates as an instrument of complete honesty in ways that our carefully chosen words often don't. We can edit our speech, control our facial expressions to some degree, and manage the content of our conversations, but our bodies broadcast our true emotional states with remarkable transparency. Attraction produces a distinctive effect on someone's physical demeanor that's difficult to fake and almost impossible to fully suppress. It softens defensive barriers, creates openness, and generates an unconscious desire to appear accessible and receptive. When a woman is genuinely drawn to you, you'll begin noticing specific patterns in how her body orients itself in space, particularly in your presence. Does she lean her torso toward you when you're speaking, even if she's sitting or standing at a distance that doesn't require it? Do her arms remain relaxed and open at her sides, or perhaps rest casually on a table rather than crossing protectively over her chest? Does she position her feet to point in your direction, even when her head might be turned toward something else? These subtle orientations reveal where her attention and interest truly lie. You might observe her hand moving up to tuck hair behind her ear or sweep it away from her neck and collarbone, unconsciously exposing vulnerable areas in a gesture of trust and openness. She might tilt her head slightly to one side while listening to you speak, a posture that signals engagement and receptiveness. Her shoulders might relax noticeably when you arrive, as if your presence allows her to release tension she was holding. These physical tells aren't calculated moves she's executing from some mental script. They're authentic, involuntary responses emerging from the deeper layers of her nervous system reacting to your presence. When someone feels safe with another person, when they experience genuine attraction and interest, their body naturally assumes more open, vulnerable, and welcoming postures. Crossed arms, turned away positioning, and closed off stances indicate discomfort, defensiveness, or disinterest. The opposite, open, forward-facing, relaxed body language directed toward you, sends an unmistakable message that operates beneath the level of conscious speech. It's her body's way of declaring, I feel safe with you, I'm interested in what you have to say, and I want to create space for something deeper to develop between us. When you observe this consistent pattern of physical openness, you're witnessing one of attraction's clearest and most reliable signals. Written in a language the body speaks fluently, even when the tongue remains silent. The fourth compelling sign emerges through the transformation in her voice when she speaks with you. Most people move through life completely unaware of how dramatically our vocal patterns shift depending on who we're talking to and what we feel toward them. The human voice is an incredibly expressive instrument, capable of conveying emotion and intention through countless subtle variations in pitch, tone, rhythm, and volume. When a woman experiences genuine attraction toward someone, her voice often undergoes a noticeable transformation that she might not even consciously recognize herself. Listen carefully to how she sounds when speaking with you compared to how her voice carries when she's talking to other people in other contexts. You might detect a newfound gentleness entering her tone, a softness that seems reserved exclusively for conversations with you. Her voice might drop slightly in pitch, taking on a more intimate quality that draws you in and creates a sense of privacy even in public spaces. Sometimes the shift goes in the opposite direction. Her voice might become more animated, carrying a playful lilt or teasing quality that brings energy and lightness to your exchanges. She might develop inside jokes that exist only between the two of you, creating a private language filled with references and callbacks to shared experiences that no one else would understand. She might create special nicknames for you or use particular phrases that have taken on unique meaning within the context of your developing connection. This vocal transformation serves a beautiful and important purpose in the architecture of human bonding. It's her way of constructing an invisible sanctuary around your relationship, carving out a space that feels distinctly different from all her other interactions. When her voice changes specifically for you, carrying emotions, warmth, and nuances that are absent from her other conversations, she's essentially building a private world where only you are invited to dwell. This shift in vocal quality creates intimacy by establishing that communication between you two operates on a different frequency than her exchanges with the rest of the world. It's a form of differentiation that says, what exists between us is special, unique, and separate from everything else. Pay attention to the emotional color in her voice when she says your name, the way certain words seem to carry extra weight when directed toward you, the laughter that seems more genuine and unguarded in your presence. These vocal signatures reveal attraction expressing itself through one of our most fundamental communication tools, creating a sonic landscape that belongs exclusively to the connection you're building together. The fifth significant indicator appears in the quality and depth of the compliments she offers you. Anyone can toss out a surface-level compliment with minimal thought or investment. Observations like, nice shirt, you look good today, or cool haircut cost virtually nothing and reveal very little about the speaker's true feelings. These generic acknowledgments serve social lubricant purposes, but don't necessarily indicate deeper interest or genuine admiration. The compliments you want to pay attention to are the ones that reach beneath the surface, the observations that reveal she's been studying who you actually are rather than just noting your superficial presentation. When she expresses admiration for aspects of your character, your resilience during challenging times, the specific quality of your sense of humor, the thoughtful way you treat people, your ability to remain calm under pressure, or the integrity you demonstrate in difficult decisions, that represents something far more meaningful than casual flattery. These substantive acknowledgments expose genuine appreciation because they require genuine attention and contemplation. To articulate what makes you uniquely you, to recognize and name the specific qualities that define your character, means she's been watching closely, thinking about you when you're not around, paying attention to how you navigate the world. This kind of recognition demands vulnerability on her part because it reveals how much space you're occupying in her thoughts. She's essentially confessing, I've been observing you carefully enough to see past the surface presentation to the actual person beneath, and I'm moved by what I've discovered there. When someone takes the time to truly see the essence of who you are and then has the courage to voice their appreciation for those deeper qualities, they're offering you one of intimacy's most precious gifts. They're saying that you matter to them not just as a pleasant presence or attractive appearance, but as a complete person whose internal qualities have captured their attention and earned their respect. These compliments that highlight your essence rather than your externals reveal genuine admiration and emotional investment. They indicate she's building a mental model of you that goes far deeper than what's visible on the surface, and she values what she's finding there. When you notice this pattern of substantive, character-based acknowledgement appearing consistently in your interactions, recognize it as a clear signal that her interest extends well beyond friendship into territory that touches genuine attraction and emotional connection. The sixth revealing pattern shows itself in how she consistently seeks out opportunities for private, one-on-one time with you. Genuine connection doesn't thrive in crowded, noisy environments, filled with distractions and competing demands for attention. It needs space to breathe, quiet to deepen, and privacy to unfold into something authentic and meaningful. If you notice her repeatedly engineering situations where the two of you can be alone together, suggesting a walk when group gatherings start feeling overwhelming, finding reasons to pull you aside at parties or social events, consistently sliding into your direct messages after group conversations wrap up, proposing coffee meetings or activities that naturally involve just the two of you. Recognize this pattern for the intentional choice it represents. This isn't random chance or coincidence. She's actively working to create containers where authentic exchange becomes possible, where the masks people wear in public can drop away and real conversation can unfold without interruption or the need to perform for others. The desire for private moments isn't about secrecy or hiding anything inappropriate from the world. It's about her recognition that the connection she feels with you deserves more than the scraps of attention available in the margins of group settings. It deserves dedicated space where it can grow into something real and substantial. When someone repeatedly seeks to carve out private time with you, they're essentially declaring, I want to know you without filters or audiences. I want to share parts of myself I don't broadcast publicly. I want to build something that feels exclusively ours, separate from the social dynamics of group settings. This pursuit of intimacy and privacy indicates she's thinking about your relationship as something special that warrants protection and nurturing. She wants to create opportunities for deeper conversation, for vulnerability to emerge naturally, for inside jokes and shared experiences to develop organically without external interference. She's building the foundation for emotional intimacy by establishing that you two share something distinct from what she has with other people in her life. When you observe this consistent pattern of seeking solitude together, of creating private moments within public contexts, of preferring one-on-one interaction over group dynamics when given the choice, you're witnessing a clear signal that she wants more than surface-level friendship. She's actively constructing the conditions under which deeper connection can flourish. The seventh and perhaps most powerful indicator is purely biological and almost completely beyond conscious control. When a woman feels genuine chemistry with you, her body responds before her mind can intervene, or her will can moderate the reaction. These physiological tells operate at the level of the autonomic nervous system, governed by neurochemistry and hormonal responses that bypass rational thought entirely. Watch for the subtle but unmistakable signs. Color rising in her cheeks when you offer a compliment or say something that affects her emotionally, her laughter becoming noticeably more vibrant and unrestrained in your presence compared to how she laughs with others, nervous energy manifesting as she plays with her hair, twirls strands around her fingers, or fidgets with jewelry or objects within reach. You might notice her touching her face more frequently during conversations with you, a self-soothing gesture that emerges when someone is experiencing heightened emotional arousal. Her breathing might become slightly shallower or faster. She might mirror your movements unconsciously, creating a physical synchronization that happens below the threshold of awareness. This heightened state isn't anxiety, discomfort, or unease, though it might superficially resemble nervousness. It's the electric current of attraction coursing through her nervous system, producing physiological responses she cannot fully govern or suppress. Her body is essentially announcing to anyone paying attention, this person affects me in profound ways I can't completely control, and every cell in my being responds to their proximity. It's chemistry in its purest, most undeniable form, the biological reality of attraction making itself known through physical symptoms that words never need to articulate. These reactions stem from the release of stress hormones and neurotransmitters like dopamine and norepinephrine that flood the system when we're near someone we're attracted to, the same chemicals that create the exhilaration of a roller coaster or the thrill of the exciting new experience activate when we're in the presence of someone who captivates us. The flushed cheeks result from increased blood flow. The fidgeting emerges from excess energy seeking an outlet. The animated laughter comes from a genuine state of heightened positive emotion. None of these responses can be faked convincingly, which makes them remarkably reliable indicators of genuine attraction when you observe them consistently. Now, here's what's absolutely critical to understand about all of these signals. Any single indicator viewed in isolation means virtually nothing in terms of drawing reliable conclusions. Human behavior is complex, multifaceted, and wonderfully unpredictable. People are not simple machines that operate according to fixed algorithms. Context matters enormously. Individual personality differences create enormous variation in how people express themselves. Someone might make extended eye contact simply because they're a naturally engaged listener. Another person might be physically affectionate with everyone they interact with as part of their general communication style. What appears to be nervous energy might actually be unrelated anxiety about something completely different. The real wisdom, the genuine insight that allows you to read situations accurately, lies in recognizing patterns rather than isolated incidents. When multiple signals emerge consistently across different contexts and over extended periods of time, when you observe several of these indicators appearing together repeatedly in various situations, that's when you can begin to trust that something genuine is unfolding beneath the surface. These indicators function like pieces of a complex puzzle. One piece alone shows you virtually nothing useful about the larger picture. But when several pieces lock together repeatedly, when the same patterns keep emerging in different settings, a clear image begins to form from what initially seemed like random fragments. She's leaving a trail for those who have developed the awareness to see it and the emotional intelligence to interpret it correctly. Understanding these signals comes with profound responsibility that extends far beyond simply recognizing them. This knowledge isn't a toolkit for manipulation, exploitation, or playing games with someone's genuine feelings. It's a framework for developing emotional intelligence, for learning to perceive and respond to authentic emotion with the respect, care, and integrity it deserves. The strongest and most admirable people aren't those who leverage attraction for selfish gain or use psychological insights to manipulate outcomes in their favor. They're the ones who recognize genuine feeling when it appears, honor it as the precious and vulnerable thing it is, and nurture it with authenticity, kindness, and sincere care for the other person's well-being. Real human connection has never been about games, strategies, or tactical maneuvers designed to achieve predetermined outcomes. It's about two individuals choosing to build something meaningful together, rooted in mutual respect, genuine desire, and reciprocal vulnerability. When you begin noticing these patterns in your interactions with someone, your most powerful and honorable response is simply to meet her openness with your own, to match vulnerability with vulnerability, to respond to her silent invitations with confidence, grounded in integrity and authentic interest. The purpose of understanding this unspoken language isn't to gain some kind of advantage or upper hand in relationship dynamics. It's to become more attuned, more aware, more capable of recognizing when something real is trying to emerge, and more equipped to respond in ways that honor both people involved. Ultimately, this silent language of attraction isn't about deception, tricks, or manipulation. It's about truth expressing itself through every available channel when words feel too risky or revealing to speak aloud. Her sustained eye contact that lingers just a moment too long, her unconscious touches that seek connection, her transformed voice that carries warmth reserved only for you, her insightful observations that reveal how closely she's been paying attention, her pursuit of private moments where deeper connection can unfold, her physiological responses that betray what her words might leave unspoken. Each of these is a fragment of a larger narrative she's writing in the language of behavior and energy. It's a story she may not be ready to articulate in explicit words yet, a confession that feels too vulnerable to voice directly, but one she desperately hopes you'll learn to read in the silent signals she's sending. These indicators form sentences in a language older than speech itself, more honest than carefully chosen words, more revealing than any verbal declaration could ever be. So when you encounter these patterns manifesting in your interactions with someone, don't dismiss them as wishful thinking or overinterpretation. Don't second guess what your instincts recognize and your observations confirm. Pay attention with your full presence and awareness. Lean into the possibility that's unfolding before you. Respond with the same courage it took for her to send those signals in the first place, even if she's doing so unconsciously. Remember that the relationships that genuinely change our lives, the connections that leave lasting imprints on who we become, rarely begin with grand declarations or carefully scripted confessions of feeling. They begin in the quiet spaces between words, in the charged silence of meaningful glances. They emerge from eye contact that communicates what language can't adequately capture, from energy that refuses to be hidden no matter how carefully someone guards their words. from silent understanding that transcends explanation and touches something more fundamental than rational thought can access. Thank you for investing your time and attention in exploring one of human experience's most fascinating and consequential dimensions. If what you've discovered here resonates with your own observations, experiences, and intuitions about how attraction operates, I'd be genuinely honored if you'd share your support and help spread this understanding to others who might benefit from these insights. Consider this an invitation to join a broader conversation about psychology, attraction, emotional intelligence, and the art of building genuine human connection in a world that often encourages superficiality over depth. Your engagement, whether through likes that help the algorithm share this content more widely, shares that bring it to friends who might find value here, comments that add your own perspectives and experiences to the collective wisdom, or simply applying these insights thoughtfully in your own life, helps create ripples that extend far beyond what any of us can see individually. Together, we're building a community committed to understanding ourselves and each other more deeply, to approaching relationships with greater wisdom and emotional intelligence, to recognizing and honoring genuine connection when it appears in our lives. Because when everything else falls away, when we strip back all the noise and confusion that often surrounds discussions of attraction and relationships, the fundamental truth remains simple. Attraction isn't about surface tactics, hollow strategies, or manipulation. It's about understanding. It's about developing the wisdom to recognize what's real when it appears in your life, to distinguish genuine connection from its countless imitations, to respond with integrity when someone extends vulnerable signals of interest in your direction. When you can fluently read these silent signals, when you've trained yourself to perceive the unspoken language that flows beneath everyday conversation, you hold something invaluable: the ability to recognize and nurture connections built on authenticity, depth, mutual recognition, and genuine feeling. These are the relationships with the power to enrich every dimension of your existence, to help you grow into fuller versions of yourself, to create experiences and memories that define the most meaningful chapters of your life story. The silent symphony of attraction plays all around us, every single moment of every single day, in countless interactions most people walk past without ever truly hearing. The question facing each of us isn't whether this music exists. It does, universally and undeniably. The question is simply whether we've trained ourselves to hear it, whether we've developed the sensitivity to detect these subtle frequencies, whether we've cultivated the awareness to recognize these patterns when they appear in our own lives. Now that you know what to listen for, now that you understand what these signals mean and how to interpret them accurately, the music will never sound the same again. Step into this awareness with an open heart, with respect for the vulnerability these signals represent, with commitment to responding with integrity and authentic care. Watch as the invisible world of human connection reveals itself in ways you never imagined possible, in dimensions that remained hidden until you learned to see them. The greatest chapters of your story, the connections that will mean the most when you look back across the span of your life, may well be written in this language that no one speaks aloud, but everyone understands at the deepest levels of human experience. This is the language of authentic attraction, honest feeling, and genuine connection waiting to be recognized, honored, and nurtured into something beautiful.